Yeah. So is the strategy call on your 100K or on another
Yes. Well, a lot of people don't realize when I talked about working with smokers, lawyers to quit smoking in 45 minutes, all the wonderful stuff was done on the strategy call. That's why the sessions were so quick, because I knew everything about them. I'd broken down all the knots they were in pretty much on the strategy call. So by the time they come in, there were some clients that would say, I just want to quit. And I go, great, quit. And they go, oh, never thought about it like that. Okay. And they go ahead and quit. And all the other stuff related to it fixes. And then I get a phone call a couple of weeks later saying, the darndest thing has happened. I haven't talked to my mother for 30 years and now we're talking again. What did that have to do with smoking? And I go, I don't know, but it's all interrelated. That's the quality of doing a good strategy call. That's why I'm always against when people say, I don't do a strategy call. I let people book me in over their website. You're just making more work for yourself. I want, by the time my client comes in, all the knots are pretty much untied. They're just like an open canvas. Erickson was big on that too. That's where I stole it from. Okay. The paradox is this. If we look at the traditional way of doing therapy, which is what? Let's go through the timeline. I'll get to your question, Jordan, in a moment. Let's look at the timeline. Client comes in, you maybe investigate the problem a little bit, but even before that, what do? You do maybe like a relaxation thing. You do like a hypnotic test, see how deep they can go. You look for the phenomena. You might tell them a little about what hypnosis is and isn't. You get them to walk down the stairs and go deeper. You're doing all of these long, arduous things to get them to a place that we call trance. Who would agree with that? Because we've all been taught that you have to get a client into trance before you do the therapy. Who would agree with that? That's pretty stock standard, okay? What I like to do, I like to do the therapy first, then do the trance later. Why the hell would we do it that way? Any ideas? Why would I want to fix a client before the trance?
So they're thinking about it?
Sorry, say that again.
So they're thinking about it?
Definitely. So they're thinking about it. Yep.
No resistance.
Thank you. There's no resistance. Think about it. Where does a client's problem exist? Conscious or unconscious? Unconscious,
Conscious.
Right? Okay. So if we ask a client about their problem, where do they have to go to retrieve that information? Unconscious, right? But don't we have to get a client into the unconscious mind to go into trance? That's what we're taught. So I cut out the middleman and think, okay, well, if I explore the problem, I have to go into trance to give me the information. That means by asking about the problem, which I need to do to find the root cause, they're going into trance at the same time. See how we're doing two things at once? Now, you haven't seen it yet because it's the very first day. It's the very first thing we've done. And the reason why I'm untying all those knots and doing the therapy first, so there is no resistance. By the time they go into trance, the unconscious mind is already collecting all the new resources. They dip into trance, the unconscious mind explodes resources onto them. Hopefully that doesn't sound too graphic, but you sort of get what I'm saying. By the time they go into trance and they snap out of it, they look at you and think, Darren, my God, you just changed my fucking life. I just figured out what it is. Makes sense? Rather than a client going into trance with all that resistance coming out the other end and you saying, how was that? And they go, yeah, it was really relaxing. And you think, shit, they're in the same place. Or worse off, they go into trance with all that problem and the trance makes it worse because there's no boundaries to what trance can give them. Now they come out. Who's had this before? They come out and their problem's even worse. Who's had that before? I have. So what I like to do and what we're doing is we want to explore the problem first, break down the barriers, break down the conclusions. So by the time they go into trance, they're like, do whatever you want to me. I don't care. My life is awesome right now. What's also important here, and I won't talk too much longer on this, there comes a point, guys, where trance is irrelevant. Hypnosis is irrelevant. They get to a point in your career where you'll never do hypnosis again. But isn't that where everyone spends all their time? Who's been to those trainings where they spend 90% of the time just showing you how to put a client into trance, but no therapy? What's the only thing that matters for your client? The therapy. I couldn't care less whether they go into trance or not, because that's not where they're going to have the resolution. That's just the icing on the cake. Does that make sense for now, guys? I will explore how we get into that.